Yes, Bachchu. So we read up to this page number 39. Here, the situation is that when the little bird it comes back, it tells the princess that I thought you would wonder, said the little bird. The fact is that I very nearly didn't come back tonight at all. Means he was not going to come back that night because my father-in-law was giving a party and they all wanted me to stay. He was going to stay with his father-in-law. But I thought you would be anxious. He thought that the princess will be anxious or worried about him, so he came back. Now, under the circumstances, this was a very unfortunate remark. Why it is called the unfortunate remark means already the princess, she was concerned that she should keep this little bird safe as her sister suggested. So this remark was unfortunate. You know, bache, that you should be aware of that now should be clear about the content as much as you can. Beta senior classes में भी board has given 50% to the literature part in this narrative. So we should be very much clear. पता नहीं कल को आपको किस किस तरह की डिटेल्स आपको गूगल फॉर्म में हम क्या पार्ट लेते हैं, लिटरेचर पार्ट कितना लेते हैं, उसमें क्या क्या आपसे पूछा जाता है, तो you should be clear. Under the circumstances, this was a very unfortunate remark for the little bird to make. September felt her heart go thump against her chest. उसका भी जोर से दिल धड़का, इसको बोलते हैं ना. And she made up her mind. She made up her mind means she decided to take no more risk. You might be asked what are the risks? Risk of losing the little bird. She put up her hand and took hold of the bird. The bird suspected nothing. A bird तो aware नहीं था ना what is going to happen. And he was so surprised when she carried him over to the cage, popped him in and shut the door on him that for a moment he could think of nothing to say. वो हक्का बक्का रह गया, ये क्या हो रहा है? Because she kept him in the cage. But in a moment or two, he hopped up to the ivory perch. Ivory perch, you know, it is a place where the bird can stand or with the support of which it stands. So some kind of hanging perch is there in the cages, if you can remember. But in a moment or two, he hopped up to the ivory perch. Ivory perch पे भी उसने hop up किया. What is the joke? There is no joke, said September. But some of Mama's cats are prowling about tonight, and I think you were much safer in there. Prowling means will be wandering in the palace layerly. Well, just for this once, I don't mind, said the little bird, so long as you let me out in the morning. Means he hoped that he will be let out in the morning. Well, just for this once, I don't mind, said the little bird, so long as you let me out in the morning. He ate a very good supper and then began to sing. But in the middle of his song, he stopped. Now he couldn't sing. I don't know what is the matter with me, he said, but I don't feel like singing tonight. He failed to understand that what had happened to him that day because he was not able to sing. Very well, said September, go to sleep instead. He asked him to go to bed, go to sleep. So he put his head under his wings and in a minute was fast asleep as he was tired. September went to sleep too, but when the dawn broke means the sun rises early in the morning. She was awakened by the little bird calling her at the top of his voice. He was shouting, wake up, he said. Open the door of this cage and let me out. I want to have a good flight while the dew is still on the ground. He wanted to come out of the cage. You are much better off where you are, said September. Let me out, said the little bird, and he tried to slip through the bars of the cage. He wanted to be taken out of the cage. He tried to slip through the bars of the cage. Bars, you understand? These are the bars of the cage. But of course, couldn't. And he beat against the door, but of course, he couldn't open it. He tried to come through the bars, in between the bars, and tried to open the door, but failed. Then The 8 princesses came in and looked at him. They told September she was very wise to take their advice. They said he would soon get used to the cage and in a few days would quite forget he had ever been free. Means very soon he will forget that he was free or he used to be free in the palace or in the out in the nature. The little bird said nothing at all while they were there, but as soon as they were gone, he began to cry again. Let me out, let me out. He was watching everything. Don't be such an old silly, said September. I have put you in the cage because I am so fond of you, so fond of you. I like you very much. I know what is good for you much better than you do yourself. I know much better than you about yourself. For you, I'm concerned for you. Sing me a little song and I will give you a piece of sugar. But the little bird stood in the corner of the cage looking out at the blue sky and never sang a note. But he did. Yes, you can well imagine the condition, the situation, and it is, we are reading so many messages and that what is happening today, what is happening these days. Now, children, if you see, if you are put in the home, you are in the home, in the four walls of the home since 4, 5 months. And how are you feeling? In these situations, in this scenario, you can well imagine the condition of the other creatures who are put in cage for the entertainment of human beings. Very well situation we can now realize. But the little bird stood in the corner of his cage looking out at the blue sky and never sang. But he was not able to sing. What's the good of sulking, said September. Why don't you sing and forget your troubles? How can I sing? Answered the bird. I want to see the trees and the lake and the green rice growing in the fields. How can I sing? The bird answered. I want to see the trees, the lake, the green rice growing in the fields, means the fields outside. He was able to sing only when he was in contact of when he watched all this, when he saw all these nature phenomena and all. I will take you out every day, she said. It is not the same thing, said the little bird. The rice fields and the lake and the willow trees look quite different when you see them through the bars of a cage. Mark the lines, bache. Here he is telling that watching them through the cage, it is very much different while wandering in the garden and fields and near the lake. It is totally different. The bird wouldn't sing a song and he wouldn't eat a neither he sang nor he ate. The princess was a little anxious at this. She was concerned and asked her sisters what they thought about it. You must be firm, they said. Mommy, you need not to change your mind, they suggested. But if he won't eat, he will die, she answered. That would be very ungrateful of him, they said. He must know that you are only thinking of his own good. Means her sisters, they tried to persuade her not to let the bird free, set the bird free, or let the bird come out of the cage. That would be very ungrateful of him. If he fails to understand you, it is really ungrateful on his part. He must know that you are only thinking of his own. You are concerned about him. If he is obstinate, stubborn, and dies, it will serve him right and you will be well rid of him. तुम्हें उससे छुटकारा मिल जाएगा. अगर वो इस परेशानी से मर भी जाता है तो it is fine, it is okay. September didn't see how that was going to do her very much good. Now she was confused. But they were 8 to 1 and all older than she, so she said nothing. All were elder sisters and they were much more than in number. She was alone with her own opinion, so she was confused. Perhaps he will have got used to this cage by tomorrow, she thought. शायद हो सकता है कल तक ही used to हो जाए, habitual हो जाए. And next day, When she awoke, she cried out good morning in a cheerful voice. She got no answer. In the morning, she called the bird, but got no answer. She jumped out of the bed and ran to the cage. She gave a startled cry. Startled, एकदम से चौंक जाना, shocked. For there the little bird lay at the bottom on one side with his eyes closed, as he looked as if he were dead. Again, we can see the use of bird with he, means that but was not, actually not. That was imagined, supposed. He looked as if, जैसे कि वो dead. She opened the door, putting her hand in, lifted him out. She gave a sob of relief. सांस लेना, उसको बोलते हैं ना, ढाढ़स की सांस लेना, relief. For किस लिए? Reason behind, she felt that his little heart was still beating. Then she took him in her hand and she was little relaxed because she felt the heartbeat of the bird. Means he was alive. Wake up, little bird, she said. She began to cry and her tears fell on the little bird. He opened his eyes and saw that the bars of the cage were no longer around him. When the bird saw that there were no bars around him, no longer the bars were there, he opened his eyes. I cannot sing unless I am free, and if I cannot sing, I die. See, the use of conditional clause. I cannot sing unless I am free, and if I cannot sing, I die. But it's so small a conditional sentence कि अगर मैं free नहीं हूँ तो मैं गा नहीं सकता, और अगर मैं गाऊंगा नहीं तो मैं मर जाऊंगा. This is the conditional clause, conditional sentence. Use of if. The princess gave a great sob. अब princess भी worried थी. Then take your freedom, she said. I shut you in a golden cage because I loved you and wanted to have you all to myself. As I was concerned with your security, your safety, so I put you in the cage. But if you don't like it, then it's okay. But I never knew it would kill you. लेकिन मैं ये नहीं सोच रही थी कि that it would kill you. I love you enough to let you be happy in your own way. मैं तुमसे इतना प्यार करती हूँ कि तुम जैसे भी खुश हो, मुझे वो appreciable है. She threw open the window and gently placed the little bird on the sill. Now he is free. He shook himself a little. अब bird ने अपने आप को shake किया. Come and go as you will, little bird, she said. I will never put you in a cage any more. It's good, it is nice, and it shows the gentleness, this generosity of this princess, that she set the bird free. I will come because I love you, little princess. Bird also loved her, and I will sing you the loveliest songs I know. I shall go far away, but I shall always come back and I shall never forget you. He promised. She set him free and he promised that he will be coming to her. You see that he was having some kind of insecurity now. He will not stay with the princess in the palace because somewhere his faith was shaken. So he promised, I shall always come back and shall never forget you. He gave himself another shake. Good gracious me, how stiff I am, he exclaimed. He was feeling stiff. Then he opened his wings and flew right away into the blue. Into the blue means in the sky, up in the sky. But the little princess burst into tears. She started crying. For it is very difficult to put the happiness of someone you love before your own. Now it was the sacrifice of the little princess, youngest princess, September. It was good on her part. She was so generous कि उसने बर्ड की खुशी के लिए अपनी खुशी को sacrifice किया. And with her little bird far out of sight, she felt all of a sudden very lonely. And that little bird was a good friend of her. He was her good friend. So she missed her. She was losing him. When her sisters knew what had happened, they mocked with her, making fun, and said that the little bird would never return. But he did at last. But he returned, and he sat on September's shoulder and ate out of her hand and sang her the beautiful songs he had learned while he was flying up and down the far places of the world. Now it became a practice. The little bird, it became of his usual routine that he came to the princess, he visited the princess, he visited the far off places, beautiful places, come back to the princess, ate from her hand, and then sang beautiful songs, melodious songs about the beautiful places in the world. September kept her window open day and night, and she always kept her windows open so that the little bird might come into her room whenever he felt inclined. जब भी उसका मन हो वो उसके पास आ सके. And this was very good for her. So she grew extremely beautiful. You see, here somewhere it is the touch of the nature, it is the qualities of the person that come on the face. You might get this kind of the positivity on the face of the person. कई बार हम किसी को देखते तो हमें बहुत positivity feel होती. That is the goodness of the heart, of the morality and the values that person has. And when she was old enough, she married the king of Cambodia and was carried on a white elephant all the way to the city in which the king lived. Means he just earned great honor in the coming year and was married to a great princess. White elephant itself shows बहुत ज़्यादा ये costly होता है, and the grace it gives. Means she was much prosperous and married to a very great king. But her sisters never slept with their windows open, so they grew extremely ugly as well as disagreeable. This line simply shows that window closed का मतलब ये नहीं कि हमें windows खोल के सोना चाहिए. Means open hearted, love for others, love for nature, generosity and all qualities. They were not in the heart of these sisters, so they grew extremely ugly. ये symbolically है. The author has used this line symbolically. And when the time came to marry them off, they were given away to the king's counselors with a pound of tea and sitting cats. Means it again symbolically means they had to get married to the king's counselors. Whereas that girl, that little princess, she was married to a great king. So, dear students, I hope here the chapter ends and it gives us a very nice message that we should always appreciate the freedom of others and the creatures, and we should love the other creatures on the earth and love nature. Thank you.